Alright, what's going on, guys? This is a general guide for Viper on Breeze. If you're playing Breeze, more often than not, you're going to see Viper being played on this map, so it's best to try and get good with her. We're going to start off on the B site. First, I'll show you guys the wall that you're going to be using most often, which is just this wall that splits the site at half wall. This is pretty much the only wall you'll see. It covers anybody peeking from mid, anybody playing behind the half wall, anybody back in CT, or just isolate the players playing back site so it's easier to clear for your team. I think a good combo to this wall, if you're going to be pushing B, is to throw your Smoke Orb. This is a pretty simple lineup that you can throw at the beginning of the round. You just line yourself up with this wall right here. And then you take your crosshair and put it right where this like power line meets the top of this wall. And you just jump click. And the orb will land right back here. And you can throw this orb as you're pushing into sight. So you only have to focus on clearing close right and then clearing back sight over here. Nobody can peek from back pillar when this smoke is up. Let's say I'm playing back sight on B. I'm defending. The wall comes up. The smoke gets thrown. It cuts off a lot of lines of sight. The guy playing pillar can't see the entrance. He's going to have to come play back over here. And you can still fight this if you're on defense, because the orb doesn't cover this. But if you're coming through B main and you're attacking, having that wall up and throwing that smoke just limits the areas that you can be peeked from, and it just makes it way easier to take B. This is where you're going to generally see the plant. So for post-plant lineups, if you didn't throw your smoke orb, you can throw your orb down. That way, if your orb is up and they're trying to defuse, they'll take decay damage. They'll be easier to kill. You can use this lineup over here at like this little crab trap here. You just get tucked into it, into this little corner. And you can line up your crosshair with the edge of this leaf right here and just shoot it. And you're very close to B main, so you can just peek right after as well. So it's not too far from the spike where it's a bad lineup, but if there's anybody flanking, coming from elbow, it's quite dangerous. So you have to be careful throwing this post plant Snakebite. But one that I think is better, but you have to throw it quite a few times to get used to it, get used to the lineup, because there isn't really a set lineup. When you're behind this box, you're very safe. Even if they come through elbow, they're probably going to come into sight to clear. Not often you get cleared from this position, but the lineup that I use behind this box, I put my crosshair in this area right here. I like to think of it as like there's a little square coming off of the roof, and I put it on the corner, and you can just shoot it. It'll land on default, but it's not consistent unless you know where you're putting your crosshair. So you have to throw it a lot to get used to it, because it's not like a normal lineup where you just line up part of your UI or your crosshair. You just have to kind of feel it out. But I think that one's really good because they have to commit all the way into B main to kill you. That's mainly how you want to be attacking B as Viper. So now we can go over defending B with Viper. You have a few different options. You can throw your smoke orb down in the entrance and just use that to hold the site. So a lot of people use this smoke in B main, and then a lot of times I'll see this wall mid to cover elbow and anybody that pushes up mid, which I think is a decent wall. You have it up, you can have somebody push elbow and get up pretty deep, and then mid, it prevents anybody from getting up too far. You can have somebody holding from tunnel so they can't push into double doors. You can have somebody nest to help hold the push mid. But I think that the better wall to throw on B would be this one from here. Just stand by the right side of the doorway at B main, and you aim it towards this corner at mid bottom, and it will cover the entrance to B. It covers elbow, and then it also covers mid here. When you're throwing this wall, it's to help cover B. You can cover elbow, so if you want to fight aggressively on elbow, you throw the wall up. If they push through the wall, they take 30 decay. So the person that's fighting elbow here is at an advantage from the start. So I think that's good if you want to be aggressive elbow. But I think this wall is really nice if you have somebody playing on A holding double doors, because when you throw this mid wall up, this person can move around a lot in mid. You can push out double doors, get into like a really tight spot here, and it just gives you more freedom to fight mid if you're playing double doors. Whereas the other wall, I don't think you can make as many plays at mid. So I think this is a better wall for like helping out your team and getting into better positions. Obviously, if you're going to be throwing this wall that covers B main, you don't need to throw your orb B main anymore. So I think that this is a really good smoke orb to throw. You're going to want to line up your crosshair on this little like dark spot on this line, and then right in between these two blue spots on the wall, you just line your crosshair up there and right click, and your orb lands right there. So looking at this setup, you have your wall covering B main, and if you're going to be playing Viper on B, a lot of times you're going to be anchoring in the back, playing either backside here, just peeking, looking for info, or playing here. So the wall is nice because it covers B main on the push, and then if they're pushing in, you can use this you can use the smoke as a one-way for anybody that's coming into the site. So you're gonna have the jump on anybody that's trying to clear you back site. So I think this is a really good setup on B. Another setup that I see on B is more of like a passive hold. It'll have the smoke in B main, which is standard usually, but then you throw your wall right at the front side of this pillar, and this wall can be used for retakes. So you've lost the site and you want to retake with your team, you can throw up your Viper wall and it'll split the site in half. So you have to clear half wall here as you come in, clear back site, but you don't have to worry about B main or this little rat corner that people love to sit in and hold people as they're trying to retake the site. So I think this can be a good wall for retakes. And another thing about using this wall for retake is when you have the wall up, it's just like when you throw a smoke on the plant, you can use it to block their line of sight from B main. So you can use it to try and defuse and just retake the site. So that's another wall that I don't see as much, but I think it can be really good. We can look at one more wall that goes from mid. can be pretty good for attacking B. So at the start of the round, you can stand over here and you can throw this wall up towards nest. What this wall does is it lets you push up mid without having to fight double doors, so you can get into a good spot. So you can play here and hold rotations as your team is attacking B, and it'll put you in a good spot to hold the flank, essentially. Another thing with this wall is when you're attacking B, you'll have one guy pushing up mid here, taking control of mid, because you're going to want that. Otherwise you could get fast flanked, so on and so forth. But the rest of your team is going to be hitting B. So you're going to have a couple people working B main, and then you're probably going to have two coming up elbow, trying to push elbow. This wall can come up to help them push tunnel without having to worry about nest. So the people playing nest can't see these people pushing up elbow, and then you can walk up tunnel and get the jump on anybody playing backside or half wall. Alright, so the last thing about B is, I guess, where you want to put your ult. Most people just put it at the entrance of B main to help deny the push into site. Very basic. It's what everybody does for the most part. There isn't any funky ults that you can really do on this site, so that's the one I usually use and would recommend. But that's going to be all for Viper lineups and strategies when attacking and defending B. This is going to be the end of the video. I'm only going to cover B in this video because I'm going to put all the strategies for A into a separate video, because combining them would make for too long of a video. So let me know what you think of the setups and strategies for attacking and defending B site on Breeze. Thanks for watching, guys.